I'm Peter Klett with Candlebox. Well, we just did a new record, and we just finished it literally last week. The vocals were finished in the last 3 or 4 or 5 days. So it's in mix mode, and that'll be, done, and we'll agree upon everything, and then it'll go mastered, and then set up time for a tour in spring and a release. So until then, yeah, we're gonna go out and play a couple of songs here a week, and maybe another couple in the next week, and test them out, and just kind of get in the swing of the new stuff. And then we go and we have the rest of the year off, other than like a cruise. It'll be a matter of, because you get in there and you start recording and parts change, there'll be edits made, maybe you don't like this part, you cut it out, what yada yada, and then we'll play them live, and then kind of what comes out of that will be the live performance. You play the songs live and it's always just going to be different. Yeah. One of the older tracks we go into a medley of different artists and Ozzy and whatnot. But yeah, there'll be differences live. I'm sure there's guitar parts that you wish you'd have done. Well, I think obviously Into the Sun was the first record back that we did, so we didn't quite know how we were going to feel each other out and what. Different producer, different studio, less time, so we really had to kick this one out. So the similarities were that we spent time really kind of enjoying and jamming and maybe having some musical parts in the song like we did on Into the Sun, but not as much time, so it's going to be one of those things where you do the best you can, take the best parts, and that's what you get. Because I know even playing soundcheck today, there's things I wish I could have done, It's one of those things where there's a lot of guitar parts on there, but these days with Pro Tools, there's like a million different takes. So, the producer or the mixer, which is both this time, you just forget what you'd done on one track that you may have liked the other, so you're just gonna have to trust them, and then, you get what it's like a box of chocolates.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think we got back together in 2006, toured 6, 7, 8, 9. Obviously 8 and 9 were on the Into the Sun. Yeah. And the years before getting there were just a matter of getting to know one another again and getting used to each other's idiosyncrasies. Does this annoy me that much to make a big deal out of it or not? We all grew up, and I think by the time we got to this record, we'd done one back together prior, so we knew what worked, what didn't work. I think we're all in a different headspace. We brought in, Sean, our road guitar player, who's been with us since the beginning of coming back, participated a lot more in this record. So there's a different element there, which I think is really cool. Scott and I are in Seattle, and the rest of them are in LA. So a lot of the writing gets done down there because Kevin's singing. So it is a little different. But after going into the studio, we're able to, as far as I'm concerned, my parts, being able to kind of incorporate my own thing into it. So it turned out pretty cool. I'm really excited. Well, I think that we've always wanted to do that, make a documentary, and so the recording of this was in LA, and we have a friend, Michael Sarna, who did our last video, a couple videos, wanted to come down. He said he'd film it. So that's where it spawned. We thought, let's document where we are now, get where we were, where we started, and all put it in one and just make a cool documentary. I think we've always wanted to do that, so we had the opportunity now to do that. So that's what we're trying to do, is compile a bunch of stuff together to make it right. As cliche as it's going to sound, is that you are nothing without the fans. So I don't even care. I mean, when I was a kid, that's what I wanted, because it makes the experience that much more intriguing, and just makes you love that band more, that you were able to get something from them that nobody has, your own recording, or somebody has one and they give it to you, pictures, set list. I don't even care. If someone were to release a record and make a ton of money, and it'd be different. And even then, it's like, these days, what can you do, really? So I think it's cool. The more of your music out there spreading around, and different elements of that music and live and things that people want, it creates an excitement. It creates I have to have it. So they go out and they look, and it just spreads. You know, I'm sure every band's fans are the same, but you know, they have these things where they collaborate on where they're gonna be, you know, what shows they've been to. You know, now they're bringing their kids, you know, because 20 years older, so there's families now, and then, you know, you see these young kids. The other day we did a show, and this woman brought her 2 daughters, and both the kids were singing, but one of them in particular knew every word to every song. The obscure songs that aren't, you know, mainstream, that we play all the time. She knew every word and was singing the entire time. I could not believe that. I've never seen it. So, I'm sure it's, you know, with all bands, but just that kind of thing, it just like makes you feel good. It validates that you've done something right, you know. Well, like I said earlier, in the middle of one of our songs, we break it down and go and play an Ozzy song, Led Zeppelin, Kiss, Thin Lizzy, you know, and just kind of. But I think really, you play the songs because the fans want to hear it, and the pleasure they get out of it is what keeps you going. You know, I played Far Behind a million times. You know, you go through, oh, I'm excited to play it, to I'm sick of this song, I'm a spoiled brat, to, you know, this is kind of fun again, and then it just becomes normal, and like it's more like you're not really playing it for you anymore. It's just for them, so you just like get to feel what they're feeling. So I've had a good life because of them. So yeah, they can. That's kind of why it's like tape and have whatever you want. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's the least we can do for them to have bootlegs and record this and record. I don't care. It just doesn't bother me. What I've learned, I guess, through all the years is how to compartmentalize things on tour in the band. I still struggle, you know, with things, but seeing things for what they are, you know. Nowadays for me, it's not a job per se, but I'm not out here to party. It's, you know what I mean, or sleep with women. I'm out here to do my job, but I enjoy my job. You know what I mean? So it's mellowed me out. I think all of us, you know, most of us have kids, except for Scott and I and Sean, but you know, Scott's been married and I'm married now, so it's very chill, you know. It's just out here, you really are out here to play the songs, enjoy the concert, and see friends. Well, I'm really into recording, so I've been buying a lot of studio gear, upgrading, and investing for a future studio, you know, and researching this, researching that. You know, as far as a hobby, I love to golf. I don't get to do it much anymore, but I have another band, Lotus Crush, so when we get done with this tour and this year, I'm going to go do another record with them. So things like that, you know, I'd like to start recording bands. My main goal is to get my studio to where I really want it, and I want to move to Nashville.